Well, hello everybody. I want to do this video. I'm not sure if everything worked out with Jeremy Gibson this morning, and I hope it did. But I'm going to do this video. It's for everybody. I've tagged a lot of people in the post. I want to go through as I've added links to what every law enforcement officer in Canada is upholding to legally. I want to get into the protest, April 1st, 2024. That is the day, everybody. That is the day that if Justin Trudeau doesn't walk back the carbon tax increases, it is the day that at least in 7 provinces with more than 50% of the population of Canada meets the threshold for the amendment procedure, an almost impossible task in Canada. The last time it was done was in 1982. Premier Lougheed of Alberta organized all the premiers together, and they saw the 1982 amendments done. No, not every province got involved, but that amendment procedure lives on today. And for all of us and a lot of us, it's almost nearly impossible to make, except for April 1st, 2024. All of you who want to get involved in the carbon tax protest know where to do that, how to do that, dealing with police, what you need to have on you in that moment if you deal with police officers, if they come to cease and desist you or remove you. We all get scared in those situations. I'm no stranger to police, arrest, all of it. I too, regardless of how well you speak, your memory goes blank, your heart starts to pound, you're dealing with officers of the law, they're armed, you're not. They have rights and authorities over you. We all get scared. We get fearful. We forget everything. We can turn into babbling, bumbling idiots. That's the truth, and it happens all the time. Now, that's why we have lawyers, they say. Well, not all of us can afford a lawyer, not all of us can have a lawyer. So why am I making this post? There are 4 links in this title. In those links are 1, the highest laws of Canada. Just one page, all of you who wants to get involved in the carbon tax protest, you have to have that with you. So in that moment, if it comes where you lose composure and you're afraid and the officer's in your face and you can't remember what to say, you go, officer, and you hand them that piece of paper because you have it with you. You hand them, you say, officer, take this. The officer's going to take it and they're going to look. Part 5, Section 38, and they're going to see B. Now, there's more. You're going to have more. You're also going to have, in the links to this title, 3 oaths that it doesn't matter what cop, from what organization, what province, doesn't matter. Every police agency in Canada has 3 oaths. The oath of allegiance, the oath of secrecy, and the oath of office. Their badge. Now, you don't have to memorize this stuff. You just have to have it with you to hand to that officer and say, officer, and then the officer's going to look. Okay, this is what I'm sworn to. He's going to go, shit, they've got 3 of my oaths. My first oath, the oath of allegiance to the highest authority, His Majesty King Charles III, successors and heirs. Now, who is that in Canada? For every cop, that's Governor General of Canada, Mary Simon. Folks, do you know what her only primary role is? To behold and hold the power of the constitutional acts of Canada. And folks, 7 premiers with more than 50% of the population of Canada. We got Ontario, plus we got the 2/3 we needed. It's an almost impossible task. They said on April 1st, they want Trudeau to not increase the carbon tax. He says Forget all of you. I'm the Lord Commander. I'll decide. Well, he's not. And in this limited constitutional monarchy that I just want everyone to know I don't support. I'm not a liberal. I'm not a conservative. I'm not Green Party. I'm not NDP. I'm not People's Party of Canada. I want nothing to do with the crown. But I want to be a Republican. But folks, in that limited power, and an impossible feat has happened. We have, after more than 40 years, since 1982, we have those 7 premiers, the first ministers. And those police officers, no matter where they're from, with their 3 oaths, oath of allegiance to that of Governor General Mary Simon, who must hold and enforce the Constitution that says Justin Trudeau lost 2/3 of the first ministers, the premiers. Justin Trudeau lost more than 50% of the population, and they don't want his carbon tax increase. She has to uphold the law. It's right there, 38B, folks. The hardest thing to do in Canada has been done, at least on April 1st, 2024, if Justin Trudeau doesn't pull back on the carbon tax. You all protest. You have those 3 oaths. You have the Constitution with Part 5, Section 38B, ready to hand to an officer who tries to remove you. Now, what's going to happen if the officer worries about their badge and is actually for the law? Because you're on the side of the law. They're going to have to go back to their car. They're going to have to pick up the radio and call back to HQ, because the oath of secrecy says they have to get their marching orders from the First Minister. That's the Premier. And folks, in another link in this title, if you're protesting in a province of the 7, meaning Alberta, Saskatchewan, Ontario, PEI, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, Newfoundland, you're going to be okay, because that police officer will go back and say, hey, they're showing me this paper. Is this right? They're showing me my oaths, and yeah, I know my job is to call ahead. And what does the minister say? If you're in one of those 7 provinces, you're going to say, yeah, today 7 of us said no way, and yes, we are more than 50%. No police officer has seen this in more than 40 years, since 1981 technically, but 82 it was put in. But that's how long it's been. More than 40 years, 43 years, folks. So they're not going to be maybe not aware, but they will be aware when they make that call. And then they're going to be put on hold. What do we do? Now, for those who reside in Manitoba, that's Wabkinu, he is with Justin Trudeau. He's in the minority. If you're in British Columbia under David Eby, he's with Justin Trudeau. If you're in Quebec under François Legault, he's with Justin Trudeau. You can be arrested. They call that First Minister. That First Minister is going to say, no, we support carbon tax. Arrest them. They can do that to you. I'm not saying they will, but they can. So how do you, in British Columbia, Manitoba, or Quebec, get out of that? It's very simple. You join the protest on a border closest to you in the interprovincial zone. So, you're in British Columbia, very simple. Cross the border to Alberta, join the protesters on the Alberta side. If you're in Manitoba, you have several options, whichever one's closest to you. Go to the Saskatchewan border crossings, go on the Saskatchewan side, join them. If you're on the other side of Manitoba, hey, no problem. Go into Ontario, stay on the Ontario borders. Let that First Minister and those police call the Ontario Premier, Doug Ford. Now, if you're in Quebec, you have multiple to go to. You have Newfoundland, be on the Newfoundland side. If you want to take the ferry, go to Newfoundland. You want to go on the cross-border, join any of the New Brunswick border sides, or you turn around and go to Ontario. any of those border crossings. Whichever's closest to you, stay in those boundaries under those first ministers. Now, all the links are there, and you can even do more. In the officer's oath, it says they must uphold the Constitution. Numero 1, that's the only way they get to have a badge. And they're under first and foremost Governor General Mary Simon, whose only job in Canada is to hold the constitutional acts against the Prime Minister. It's the only check and balance. She must obey, or she doesn't have a crown on her head. It's a limited check and balance, but we've achieved it. And at least on April 1st, it's there. It's your civic duty, your only civic duty. Police in Canada do not, and I repeat, they are not America. It's not to serve and protect the people of the United States. That's not Canada. You go on to the rights and responsibilities of all police officers in Canada, you'll see it goes first and foremost Governor General Mary Simon. Then it's all the parliamentarians. Prime Minister. Then it's the parliamentarians. Then it's the ministers, the first ministers. And as you go through, you'll find that they have to call those ministers in dealing with you when you present the constitutional law. And again, I've given you the idea that's the highest law of Canada. It's been achieved, at least will be achieved, April 1st, 2024 for carbon tax protests. If you are in the right province under the right first minister who has effectually rebelled. They're the citizens. The officers of the law must go with that. They must go with Governor General Mary Simon. Now, you need those documents. You need them printed off because, again, all of it. You need the rights and responsibilities of all officers of the law in all provinces and territories. Doesn't matter. Even CN Rail. They're all bound to the same crest, the same shield. No matter what design, they all have the same royal crown design. They all swear the same 3 oaths. Again, oath of allegiance, numero 1. Under the Police Act, all officers of the law, that oath to the Constitution of Canada, I may not like it, but we've achieved it. At least the citizens, the first ministers, have achieved that highest law, the nearly impossible thing. These are the documents you need. There are 3 oaths. You need Part 5, Section 38B, the first ministers. And third, you need to know which province the 7 ministers have voted for. So, not BC, not Manitoba, not Quebec. Now, I'm not saying people can't protest. I'm just saying that your ability to get civic protection under the law is gone. David Eby, Wab Kiinu, Francois Legault are likely not to give you that right. They're going to say, no, we're the minority that voted with the criminal Justin Trudeau, who, folks, will officially be a criminal according to the highest laws of Canada and his own father, 1982. And Quebecois, I'm sorry, you are under the 1960 Bill of Rights, not the 1982. These don't apply to you. That's why I say absolutely for Quebecois, leave Quebec. Find a border outside of Quebec, be on the other side of Quebec, because you have no protections under the law. 0, none whatsoever. This will be the same for British Columbia and Manitoba. All Manitobans, all British Columbians. You will likely get the same meeting of the police. They can arrest you. They can use that. The minister will back them up and say, take them down. But everybody else, you're in a civil responsibility to protest. You will, as of April 1st, 2024, if Justin Trudeau goes ahead with the carbon tax increase, it is your civic responsibility to back up those citizens that the police must protect and adhere to, the first ministers of the more than 2/3 with more than 50% of the population. And when you read the rights and responsibilities of officers, you'll find out you're not even a citizen in this country unless the ministers say you are. And in those 7 provinces, they will give you the authority to be a real citizen, at least for that day. That is my belief. I would bet on it. I would bet on it. And nothing's for certain. You may still get arrested, folks, by police, but you will have the legal authority to go after them if the ministers, the 7, remain that way with effectually more than 50% of the population. Folks, we've got Doug Ford, Ontario. That's nearly 40% of the Canadian population. Throw in Alberta, you've made the 50%. Never mind everybody else. Saskatchewan, all of Atlantic, it's there. We've greatly superseded that power. It never happens. Hasn't happened in 43 years. This is your chance to do the right thing, to at least invoke once in your lifetime your one civic authority. Again, all 4 links are there. Open them all up. Take a good, hard look. This never happens. This is our chance, at least, to end Justin Trudeau. And I promise, folks, you carry this out, especially when it comes to the trains. You carry this out 3-4 days, hold the line. It's going to be the end of Justin Trudeau. He won't have the police. He won't have the military. And Governor General Mary Simon will have to follow her duty, or Charles takes away the crown. That's the truth. Now, they can do all kinds of horrendous things. Maybe the police will just ignore and go, oh, but at the end of the day, at least in our deranged system, they will follow the crown laws, the superior human laws. They will at least follow the 7 ministers. That's my promise to all of you, however it goes. So you make the decision. Print these links off. Have all those things. 3 oaths. If you want more, take the Police Act of Canada for all law enforcement. There's a rich detail there. They only have a little handbook, but it's enough. Absolutely have Part 5. It's just 1 page. I made it nice and easy for everybody. Part 5, Section 38B. It will be achieved on April 1st, 2024. You will, for at least that day and the days forward in that protest, you will be a real citizen. Otherwise, you wouldn't be. But those ministers will make you a real citizen at least once in your life. You'll kind of know what it's like if you'd been a Russian or an American. You will be a real citizen. That's my video. Very important. Share. Share. Get it out there. This hasn't happened in 43 years. You have a chance, at least at the smallest level, finally to have a check and balance applied. And you get to be that civil responsibility. Again, I don't support the crown. I'm a Republican guy. That's my heart and soul. I would love to go from being the wooden puppet Pinocchio to a real citizen, the real boy. But at least for a day or maybe a few, you'll get to know what it's like to be an actual citizen in Canada. That's my video. Share. Tell everybody you know. You're the change. You're the power. As little limited as it is. Again, I don't support the monarchy, but as limited as it is, it's there. This is real, credible, verifiable, and it's your power, at least in those days. God bless. Bye now.